Hi, welcome to Quilting with Lori. My name is Lori Dickman. Today we're going to continue with our Speedy Scrap Solutions series. If you haven't watched video number 1 and 2, you want to definitely watch those. I'll have those linked in the description box below. Those videos will walk you through my Speedy Solutions techniques and how I go about cutting up the remnants and getting everything cut, sorted, and organized. But today what I want to focus on is value and how I sort the different scraps and strips in my stash according to value: light, medium, and dark. I had a number of viewers who had some questions about that, and so I'd love to be able to answer those today. So on my tabletop here, I've got a foam board filled with a bunch of these scraps that I cut, and I also have one behind me with additional squares and strips and templates. But we're going to focus today on these squares, and I'm going to sort things for you here at the tabletop so you can see how I sort according to value: lights, mediums, and darks. I love creating patterns. I design a lot of patterns, and I design them based on those three values: light, medium, and dark, so that you can pull from your scrap stash and create the beautiful quilts using scraps from your stash that are already cut. It's a very simple way to create quilts. So now let's go to the tabletop and let's check out how this is done. All right, here is one of the foam boards that I have with all of these squares that were cut. And if you listen to the previous 2 videos of mine, you'll understand how the measurements that I use for cutting. I cut in 1/2 inch increments, so I start at 1.5 inches. This board goes up to 6.5, and I do cut up to 10-inch squares. I love having that assortment because I love creating a variety of different patterns using all of that. Now, you might not need or want all of these various sizes. You cut what you feel is going to work best in your studio. So this is what I have here. And so let's just take some of these squares. We'll start with these 3-inch squares here, and we're going to sort them. And I like to sort them by value: light, medium, and dark, so that I can then put them in containers. And the containers that I typically use are these little shoebox containers, they're called. You can get them at the dollar store, Walmart, Target, wherever. So this would be a light. This one could be considered a light in some cases, but it might also be considered a medium in some cases. And here's the important thing to remember. Value is relative to what it is next to. So if this is next to some dark squares like that, it's more of a light. But if it's next to something like this, it takes on more of a medium value because you're seeing more of the darks popping out. So just because you might place this square in the lights in your container, that square might not always be a light. It could be a medium in a certain block, or it could be a light in certain blocks. What I'm going to do is throw it in the lights for right now. When I'm pulling my stacks of squares later, I might have to move it around. This would be a dark. This one, possibly a medium. These could be darks. These might be mediums here. I'm going to share with you here in just a few minutes a simple way for you to, now this is kind of an unusual square. It's one that's actually got a seam in the middle. You may or may not want to use that in your regular scrap stash. You might want to put that in your crumb container. For right now, I'm just going to put it in the lights. Here's some more lights. This one probably is going to be more dark. These are going to be more dark. That might be more medium. It could be, in some cases, a light. These are mediums. Here we have lights, mediums, and lights. Now here's something that you can do. There are these tools that you can purchase. They're value tools. They're red filters and green filters. You can certainly use those tools to identify the value of something, but the simplest way to identify what a value is of a particular grouping is to take your cell phone and put all of your fabrics together, the ones that you're curious about. Take a photo of them so that you can see them all, and then go to that photo and go into the formatting of it and filter it so that it's just a gray and white. In my case, my phone calls it a mono, and it's simply gray tones and white tones. And you'll be able to identify immediately what is light, what is medium, and what is dark. So these 3-inch squares are basically sorted. And again, some of these mediums may not remain mediums when I've actually pulled them to use them in a square or in a block. I might have to move things around, and that's okay. And these darks here pretty much are all darks, and these are pretty much all lights, but there's a couple that could end up being a medium, quite possibly. So I'm going to take these and I'll put them in my 3-inch container. This will go on the light side, the medium side, and the darker side. And right now I'm just going to put them like that, put them back here. And that's what I would do with all of these piles. I would sort each and every pile. Now I'm going to pull some cardstock over here where I have a few 9 patches set up with some unusual fabrics. And I'm going to share some tips with you on how I handle those when I'm pulling scraps for my quilts. All right, so here is my 4-inch bin container. I wanted to show this to you first. I've got pretty much lights on this side and mediums here. Some of these mediums could end up being lights. It all depends. And then over here, we have darks. They're kind of tucked on the side. They don't fit as nicely in there because there's quite a few. This stack right here is upholstery. This is kind of a leather. This is from a beautiful dress from many years ago. Here's some corduroy. There's some flannel. There's some upholstery. And there is some more flannel. I do keep those separate, and I'll use this interesting types of fabrics in art quilts and applique quilts, but I don't typically use them in a regular scrappy quilt. But I do like to scrap that up because I love making art quilts and applique quilts. So that is what that is. Here I have a whole bunch of half square triangles that have already been created. So all I need to do is square these up and get rid of the dog ears there. And I have all kinds of beautiful half square triangles already ready to go, just about ready to go. They have to be squared up. But I've got those in this container because they're 4-inch half square triangles once they're completely squared. And I can use those in a pattern. So I like to keep all of that handy. Now, let's say I want to make a 9 patch and I want 4 darks for a 9 patch, 1 medium and 4 lights. What you can do is simply go to your darks and grab, let's say if you were making, 20 blocks, and so maybe you needed, 80 darks. So you could just grab a stack of what might be 80 darks, and maybe you just need 20 mediums, and maybe you'd need 60 of the lights. And that makes it so easy. You don't have to literally count it out. You can just grab what you think might be that particular quantity, put it in an empty container with your pattern, go to your sewing machine, and start sewing. You have what you need, and that's when you can start putting your blocks together. Now let's talk about what happens with some of the unusual scraps that you might end up with and what to do about it. So here is my first 9 patch that I have pulled, and I pulled some pretty wild pieces of fabric, some pretty wild squares. This is not typically something that I would put together, but I just wanted to share with you how you can identify what value the different squares are in the block. I took a picture of this with my phone here, and I filtered it so that it's just mono, and I can identify that these 2 are dark. This one is reading rather dark, but there's a lot of the white snowman peeking out here. This one is reading dark. These 3 are reading light, and these 2 are reading medium. So that is how this particular block is reading. I don't like the look of this block, and so I would not actually use these squares from that container that I would have pulled to make my squares. I'd move things around. I'd find some that were really truly mediums and really truly dark. So let's say I want these to be really dark, so I would make sure that these 2 would work, but I'd need to pull those out and find some others. I think I'd rather have these be completely light as opposed to this, because I'd rather these be mediums, and one of these could go in here as a medium. And let's see, if I did that, that would be a little bit better. I would still need a couple of lights there. These are reading light, but that is not a combo that I like at all. So I wouldn't actually construct a block with these, but I'm just letting you know you can. You absolutely can if you want to. If you just want to use everything in your stash and make a really scrappy quilt, you could absolutely do that. And the easiest way then to identify what the value is to take a picture of it and filter it so that it's just gray tones, or in my case, it's called mono. So that is one. Now let's take a look at another one. All right, so this is the second block here. I'm going to move this out of the screen a little bit. All right, here's some other very unusual ones. There are some stripes. This is a basket weave. And what you're going to find with stripes is sometimes, although there are darks in this stripe, more of it is reading light. And when I took the picture, it is reading more of a light to a medium square because of that. There are some darks, but they don't pop out as much as all of the lights. This one is reading mostly light. Just this little bit right here is showing up as a dark. This one is an even mixture of light and medium. So it could be either or, depending on where you put it and how you wanted to use it. It's reading kind of medium right here, but that could change depending on what block you're putting it with. This one's reading dark. That one is reading dark. This one, there's a lot of light right in here, and there's more of a medium in these two portions of that square. So when a square of fabric has a lot going on in it, sometimes it's going to read light and sometimes it's going to read dark, depending on how you cut the square. This one here is reading kind of a medium because the rose color is popping out as more medium. It's taking dominance there. And then this basket weave, it is reading mostly light because you're seeing a lot of this gold here, which is reading lighter than the reds there. And then, of course, this one is reading very light overall. So that's how it's reading. So it's not a block that pops for you because you definitely need darks, mediums, and lights, and positioned in a particular way that makes it attractive. So let's just grab a few darks here. So how about if we put, some of these are the same, so I'll do this. So now we have 4 darks on the outside. Let's put some of this here and maybe put this one in the middle. That kind of allows it to read as if these are lights and these are dark. So that's a better arrangement of scraps because you're seeing the lights pop out. This is kind of looking medium and these are reading dark. That's a block I could deal with. All right, here's another block that I pulled on this yellow cardstock here. And if you are not too keen on really, really scrappy quilts, what you can do is find a fabric that you can use throughout the quilt so that your eye has a resting place throughout the whole quilt. So in this case, we have these 4 brown squares. They're dark. It's the same fabric, or it doesn't necessarily have to be the same fabric. It could just be all browns that have that nice dark undertone that's in your scrap stash. That helps give some unity to the block and to the quilt. So if you don't like the real scrappiness, then try and find some way to have a unifying effect on that quilt so that your eye has a resting place. With these crazy pieces here, they all read more of a light, and these two kind of have a medium out here. Possibly, let's see, if I were to move that around, maybe I could even change that out for that. There we go. That's even better. So now it's kind of reading medium here. In this particular square, more of the zebra, the dark stripes of the zebra is showing up. In the other square here, you saw more of the fur and it had a lot of the brown showing up. So it read a little bit lighter. Here it's reading a little bit darker because of the concentration of the stripes. So it's more of a medium, so that might work well in the center. There's so many things you can do. Maybe you feel this is still too dark, but it's a block that would work because these are reading lighter than these dark ones, and this one is reading medium for the center. So it's a simple, fast way to put together a 9-patch. And 9-patch quilts are great alternating blocks in any quilt that you're putting together. You can use maybe applique pieces or just a big, maybe a 4-patch with some 9 patches, however you would like to construct it. But it's a great, fast way to use up your scraps and to get a beautiful block and a beautiful quilt. All right, the last block I'm going to share with you is one that is put together, and since 4th of July is coming up this weekend, this is a great one, which is using all these beautiful patriotic fabrics. So there's 3 fabrics here, the light, the dark, and these would be considered the mediums, and the only reason they're considered mediums is because they have the light stars in them. So this red reads darker than the blue, only because there's these stars that are in the blue. This particular block is made of 16 half-square triangles, and if you're looking for an easy way to make 32 half-square triangles in one fell swoop with 2 pieces of fabric, I've got a video for you. I'll link that below, and you can easily make up some beautiful blocks using your favorite patriotic fabric. But this is a great one, and I took a photo of it and just filtered it out so it's mono. And all of the light fabrics with the white background, they read light. The blues are reading more of a medium only because there's that white star or cream-colored star poking through. And then these reds are reading very dark. They're very concentrated. So it's going to be a beautiful quilt using those pieces. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope I've answered some of your questions regarding value and how to sort everything once you've got everything cut and ready to be put into containers so that you can actually pull it quickly and make some beautiful quilts. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to leave a comment, or you can go out to my website, quiltingwithlori.com, and there's a contact page if you'd like to email me personally. I'm happy to answer your questions. If any of you are members of guilds and you would like to have me virtually connect with your guilds and teach my Speedy Solutions techniques, as well as my virtual workshops where you can scrap up your stash right along with me, I'd love to do that. You can go out to my website and go to the bookings page, and you can see all about the information and what I have available for you. They're really fun lectures and really fun workshops, and so I hope you'll check that out. If you're not familiar with me, if you have just found my channel, I do want you to know I do have my Speedy Solutions Techniques book. There is a video that corresponds to this book that teaches you everything you need to know to get your scrap stash cut, sorted, organized, and ready to use to make beautiful quilts. There's 5 patterns in there, also 12 patterns here. In the book set, you get a total of 17 scrappy patterns and all of the techniques. But if nothing else, definitely go out and watch the video. And the video is linked below in the description box. If you are watching on your television and you can't access the description box, just go out to my YouTube channel, Quilting with Lori, and on the home page of my YouTube channel, that first video that you see at the top there is featured, and that is the one I'm referring to. So take some time and watch that. It will really help you in your studio. Thank you so much for stopping by today. If you like the content that I'm providing, please don't forget to like and subscribe and leave a comment. I love reading the comments from my viewers. Thank you so much, and until next time, happy quilting.